let's discuss a thorny topic and hopefully make a point. Hello and welcome back to Tricolor Gaming with me, Fletcher. And in today's video, I'm going to tackle a difficult topic and respond to some comments that I've seen from folks within the Jurassic World Evolution 2 community. But before we get into that, don't forget to hit that like button, and if you are new here, subscribe for more content from all of us at Tricolor Gaming. Right, let's get stuck in. Today's topic is modding, and I'm making this video in response to all sorts of comments I've seen around the Jurassic World Evolution 2 community about mod use, and content creators like me and others using or not using mods. I'm aware a lot of console gamers do play Jurassic World Evolution 2, and it seems that they find it negative that content creators use mods. This was raised in my last walkthrough video part, and I want to respond to these views with a single sentence. Mods do not make good parks. Let me explain. While mods allow you to do more with the tools that the game provides you, and adds new tools in many cases, the simple fact is that really good looking parks follow sets of basic rules that mods have absolutely nothing to do with. Good parks have good path layouts. Mods don't help with that. Good parks have creative enclosure design. Mods don't help with that. Good parks are laid out well, making good use of space. Mods don't help with that. Good parks are creative. Mods do not make you a creative person. It is a simple fact that all the best parks follow simple rules and techniques that mods simply have no part in. I want to come back to this in a second. I also want to clarify what the point of the Build With Me series is. It is not to enable watchers to copy the park verbatim. That is not the point of the series. The aim is to demonstrate the basic techniques of what I think is good park building and to serve as inspiration for your own parks. Inspiration, not to spawn copies of the park. I want to make it clear going forwards that the walkthrough series is for inspiration only. Now let's just quickly return to this question of mods not making good parks. One of the problems that was had in my last video was the fact I used mods to make an aviary hover above the ground, which I turned into a gazebo. What I'm going to do now is destroy that and rebuild the same area multiple times, this time using no mods at all, to demonstrate that you can still make something good without using a single mod ever. Right, hello there everyone, and welcome back to the walkthrough park. And as you can see, I've already deleted absolutely everything in that center point that we made, so that I can get started on demonstrating to you that you don't need mods to make something look very good. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rebuild this centerpiece in about 4 or 5 completely different ways, so that you can see that there are plenty of options for you even if you don't use mods. So the first thing I'm going to do with this particular layout is we're just going to turn this into a very simple plaza. So we're going to fill the center piece up with path. There we go. And now you've got a nice simple pathed area for you to make use of. And then what I'm going to do with this is we're probably going to put down, I think if we put down a fountain, let's put a fountain down in the center. We'll go for the biggest fountain. And then what we'll do is surrounding the edge of the fountain, this area, is we will place down the largest of the planters here. We'll have 2 per side. Like such. And then 1 in the middle. So we've got 4 roots in. And then what we're going to do is we'll lay out tables around these edges. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. And then we will lay out third set there and there. And then we'll have 2 by either of these like this. So we have a nice open seating area there. And then from that seating area, what we could do is we could simply wall that off. But I don't actually like that. So instead of walling it off, I'm going to grab simple rocks. There you go. None of them close enough together to have a problem. So we've got a nice rock foundation around the edge. And then what I'm going to do is grab the standard fibrous ground cover brush. Just place that in there. There we go. And then instead of having these circular sections with trees in, like we did the last time, instead I'm going to use them for some little biocin fountains. And what we'll do is we'll use the decoration trees instead. Obviously, if you want to spend more time doing it with the vegetation, you can do. I'm just demonstrating here that it is not difficult nor time consuming to make something that looks good and doesn't require a single mod whatsoever. There we go. Simple plaza with surrounding smaller fountains and vegetation. Simple seating area there in the center. Works perfectly well. Right, here we are, back to square one. What shall we do this time? Let's not put a full plaza in there. Let's put some water in instead. So we're going to create a water feature. That'll do nicely. So a good water feature always makes use of some alternative color textures in order to highlight the water source. I'm going to make the surrounding area dark sand, and in the center be light sand. There we go. Now, the surroundings of this water feature, we need a few rocks. We're going to use the fibrous ground cover brush again to add some vegetation to the edge. There we are. And then we're going to use the placeable trees. To create a nice little oasis there. And to further accentuate that oasis, we're going to add in a few other little decorations, a couple of pterosaur statuettes. And then instead of placing seating down around here, what we're going to do is we're going to create and use these light pillars to create a simple wall. This is going to take time, so bear with me. There we go. I've just done it quite quickly. You could probably get it neater than that. There's some of these that are a bit out of place. But there's the general gist of what we're going for. We have the lighting pillars around. I'm going to place inside of this area actually a few tables around the outside of this oasis. And again, we could choose to decorate the outside of these, outside of this plaza, where the O-rings are here, in any way that you see fit. An alternative to the fountain arrangement could be to place the Spinosaurus skeleton in, or we could simply put down the amber statue, or the obelisks, for example. But I'm trying to focus more on this center bit, since this is where this is the sort of main area here. So there's a possible alternative, using the light towers as a wall, using the center as an oasis. Okay, this time I'm going to kind of do the opposite to the water source. And because this is going to require a bit more space, I'm going to delete that section of path, and instead we're going to put that section of path in the center here. So we're going to fill up this section of path here. Like thus. There we go. So now we've got a much larger area of outer plaza here. And what we're going to do is create a raised sort of section in the center. Going to create a... Doesn't have to be especially tall. We just want it to basically prevent anyone from having a look at what's beyond it. And then we're going to use the... Now I'm trying to remember which brush they actually provide you in this particular map. We're going to make sure there's plenty of vegetation there. Put a few rocks on again. Use the placeable vegetation yet again in order to add some taller trees to this particular mountain. Line the edge of the black path area with these planters. Again, you could do it neater than this. I'm just very quickly demonstrating to you. So we've got a few little gaps here with the planters. And then we're going to design the rest of the outside. And to do that, we're going to stick in DNA fountains. Like that. And then we're going to place down some of the fire obelisks. Along the outside here. Following the path of this other colour paving that we've got going on here. That. And then we'll place down tables and chairs. Around here. There we go. So there's another alternative. A raised mount in the middle of a seating area, using the obelisks, which will form a nice light show when we get to the night time, and spreading the seating area around it slightly larger. Let's delete everything and start again. So this time we're just going to let's see, let's have a think. What could we do instead of those? Okay, so that would require quite a bit of surrounding deletion, which I don't want to do too much of. So instead of that, let's try and turn this into just an even bigger plaza. let's connect up these black side sections. Like so. Then we're going to use the lighter coloured path. And obviously, I'm not saying that mods do not help dramatically. They really do. All I'm saying, as I'm doing this, is that just because a content creator like me makes use of mods does not mean that you can't take advice from the things that we do. Because a lot of good park building skill is just not mod related. Okay. Being able to create this plaza, for example, is not something that modding helped me with. It's simple path technique. And as you can see, we've got a much larger plaza here. I'm not going to do anything with the center apart from put down some vegetation. Why am I keep clicking on the wrong brush? I'm going to go with a fibrous ground cover to begin with. There we go. And then I'm going to put down a few ginkgos hopefully in the center. There we are. Lovely. And then I'm going to use the... now, which one was it? This one? The plant potted one? See, I really don't like the desert plant pot one. It's just not tall enough. Let's place down... I quite like this being quite an open plaza, actually, without necessarily compartmentalizing it too much. So actually, let's put down... see, this is the bigger issue. You just have to have the creativity, really, to have an idea about what you want to do with the space. Let's start by putting the taller planters along this outer section here. I like these box planters that we get from the decorations tab because they are actually taller than the other planters, so you can use them almost like low walls. And again, you could do it a heck of a lot neater than how I am. I'm just doing it very quickly to show you briefly what you could still do even without walls. So use the taller planters which have more of a low wall sense to them to create the division of space. I'm going to use these tall tree planters to divide off this center space here, going down the center. So, and then on the one side I'm going to have these Spinosaurus skeletons in each corner, because the cheap path texture unmodded is this sort of dirt gravel sort of effect. You wouldn't put tables and chairs on that. I'm going to put a few obelisks around the outside of the Spinosaurus statues in order to give them a bit more impact. And again, this is not something that mods teach you, it's just simple creativity. I'm going to put down tables and chairs along the outside of this path. Like so. And then the center line we will leave empty. Actually, we'll just put a couple of Spinosaurus statuettes and a couple more obelisks in. Just to make it clear that there's a route through. And on the other side, maybe some more chairs. These ones, how they're sticking to the outside there. Add a different rotation to the ones we have on the outside. There we go. And there we have a better, much more heavily seating area. Spinosaurus for added interest. And that would look very nice in the dark hours because the lighting from the obelisks there will shine onto the Spinosaurus. So that's number 4. And I think I've demonstrated now how quick and easy it is to make things that look good even without mods. And this is mostly limiting it to using the Plaza that I had already built and making use of just simple decoration structures. I'm not even doing anything more interesting with it, like lowering the ground, lowering the terrain levels, or making it higher, or making it lower than the surrounding area, or doing things like including dinosaur exhibits in the middle. This was just 4 very, very quick, simple Plaza designs, not a single one requiring mods, that I've been able to create in probably less than 20 minutes in total. So I hope that the idea that you have to use, the idea that you can't get ideas from my content because it uses mods, I hope I've kind of convinced people that actually modding doesn't make good looking parks, and that even though I use mods, a lot of the techniques are things you can carry across. The idea of using space, of using the paving, of outlining certain areas, of using decorations to separate space, and having a focal point in the center. I hope I've shown you those skills are actually things you can just take to other parks. So in future with the walkthrough park, I am going to keep the Plaza that we wonderfully created and designed in there for this particular walkthrough. But what I'm going to do is, for any future video I do in this walkthrough park, I'm going to try to make sure that there are, if I do anything that's sort of mod dependent, I'll do a version without mods and a version with mods, so that even if you don't use mods for the game, hopefully you can still get something out of the content I produce. But the key thing to take away from any of my videos is that it's all about technique. Things like creating wide paths and avenues and using paving to outline different areas and everything else. These are things you can use in other parks that don't need mods. And so, even if you're on console, bear with me, because there will always be something that you could probably take away from my videos and use in your own parks. So for now, I'm going to leave it here. Please do check out the third part of my walkthrough series, because we're going to get started on talking about dinosaur enclosures and dinosaur skins. And that's something that, of course, mods have absolutely nothing to do with, so it should be important to everybody. So we're going to do that in the next part of the walkthrough. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTuber stuff, and I will see you in the next part. Until then, stay safe and goodbye.